All right, welcome to the Tribe Digital Marketing Series. Today, we are joined by LeadMD's founder and CEO, Justin Gray. Justin, thanks for joining.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me, Josh.
Yeah. So interesting question. Usually I ask people, what you're most passionate about in marketing, but you started a marketing company. So what would drive someone to start a marketing company?
Well, yeah, the answers to those questions are actually two different items. So,
Hmm.
as I often say, LeadMD is an accidental business, was truly driven by market demand. And, fortunately, around the 2009 timeframe was really where marketing technology was starting to become quote unquote a thing. And, that marketing function was being brought in-house and looked upon more as a profession and one
Right.
that would drive results rather than simply being the arts and crafts department or the manager of third-party agencies and so on. So it was really a response to those market conditions. And I think the underlying, the other answer in terms of like what I'm passionate about as it pertains to marketing, there are certainly legs into that there, but marketing for me is a license to break every rule out there and to be creative.
I love it.
Modern day marketing, although there's a big marketing ops focus to that, and we do a lot of that here at LeadMD, that has to be anchored in something that's new, that's fresh. It has to be a different approach than everyone else's current strategy. And so I think it's a license just always to be iterating and innovating and coming up with what is that next thing that's going to capture the attention of that buyer and what is really going to help them succeed. And that's the cycle that we run. That hamster wheel never stops functioning.
It's interesting. You mentioned creativity. It's been one of the most common threads throughout the tribe here and talking to them about things like that. And creativity should have never stopped, but now we're revisiting what creativity means. And I know you're super passionate about helping people right now in a time of crisis when people can't meet with their customers face to face, their events, their trade shows, their traditional demand activities have been canceled. So talk to us a little bit about the marketing guide in crisis. What are you trying to do? What are some of the tips that you're calling out for folks?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we're putting out the marketing and crisis guide that's going to hit streets probably today, certainly by the time this video goes live. This is fueled by the conversation that we're predominantly having with every vendor, partner, client, prospect in terms of how should we be reacting to this? What are other folks doing? And the common thread that we certainly see shared there for success is, again, something that I mentioned, doing things a little bit different, but being hyper responsive and doing so through the lens of that buyer. So squarely, my big just recurring theme that we'll see come up both within this guide and within those conversations is the notion of hyper value. Now is the time. Now is not the time to put a gate in. Hey, download this, fill out
Right.
your information. Hey, pay me money, and then I'll provide you value. We have to move value to the front of that process. First, we have to be humans. We have to have real conversations with people. They can't be vendor conversations. No one has time for that right now.
Right.
People are looking for actual insight. How are other folks succeeding? What do I need to be concerned with? How do I position my offering? And really, I only want to say position my offering. How do I ensure that folks are viewing my offering as a mission critical solution at this point? And
Right.
so a hyper value offer is at the crux of that. And what that really means is what is it that only you can perform for your buyer, your client, and simply moving that right to the front of that conversation. No money exchanging hands, no forms, no gates. How do we start providing value on call number one? And that, even saying that sounds so crazy that we have to call attention to this, but that's always been the sales and marketing dance. If you rewind 10 years ago, you had to sign up for a demo or a conversation just to understand someone's pricing structure.
Right.
Nowadays, that's all pushed to the front. That's transparent. We're going a step further and bringing value to that first conversation. Literally, let me dive into your business. So here at LeadMD, the conversation that we're having, our quote unquote hyper value offer, is the ability to dive in, provide free consulting, real value on even that first call. Who is your buyer? How is this current situation affecting them? How's it impacting their business? And how can we remedy that? How can we start putting together that plan devoid of a contract? And I think that is, that the motion also has to be surprising.
Right.
Most people are so used to yeah, sign my contract, license my software, whatever it happens to be, and then I will start performing customer success activities. The more we bring that to the front of that process and just say, hey, I know you're struggling here, that's critical. That's the absolute response that every organization should be taking right now.
Yeah, it feels like the people that respond that way right now are going to build brand equity that lives for a long time.
Yeah, and I've said it many times, the way that you react in situation, and this goes for anything, right? Like no one cares about how you perform when everything's going well.
Right.
When things are when everything has hit the fan, that's when true character comes out. And I think you're seeing that in these businesses that are leaning in and providing their software for free for sectors like education that are just so critically impacted by this, like travel, like hospitality. We're doing it with our in a different format with our AZ our local impact fund, to
Right.
where we're taking our money and saying, hey, small business, we want to keep you in business. We want to keep you employing the folks that are so reliant on those salaries, because this economy is going to come back. And so again, what you put out is going to be the way that your brand is perceived for I think a very, very long time, for the next 5-10 years easily.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, we're all susceptible to it. Some of us just are fortunate enough to have longer runways than others, and I think the way we treat those other folks right now is really gonna make a difference long term.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, well, I mean, like you said it great. Like everyone's going to be impacted by this. Like everyone is feeling that crunch. You can't shut down a global economy and have someone who's unaffected. Even the businesses that are ramping up, they're struggling with logistics. They're
Right.
struggling to get their product in market. They're struggling to implement. And so they need help as well. Everyone needs help within this time. And the key to that process is, how can I help? And how can I just give you access to that help right now and break down a lot of those barriers that we typically put up as walls?
Totally agree. Well, Justin, thanks for taking a few minutes. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care.